Okay, no matter what Piastri says about things being unfair and not wanting to speak because he gets in trouble and because obviously he's outraged, it's nobody's fault but his that he got the 10-second penalty. It's nobody's fault but his that his teammate Lando Norris beat him. Let's go to the penalty first. Piastri, during a race, during a safety car restart, went from 60 psi brake pressure and caused Verstappen to go past him before Verstappen went back. Now, this was brake testing clearly, whether it was on purpose or not. And just to give you an idea of just how powerful his braking was, George Russell appeared to be brake testing Verstappen in Canada and almost lost his win because of that during a safety car restart. And George Russell was applying 30 psi of pressure. So the amount of pressure that Piastri was applying was twice as much. And even in the case of George Russell, it looked like to me that he could be in danger of being charged for driving dangerously during a restart and losing his P1. After about 4 or 5 hours, he didn't. So it's clear that Piastri put a whole lot of pressure on those brakes. Whether he did it on purpose or not, who knows? I doubt that he did, but it was very powerful. And on top of that, he went from about 217 kilometers per hour all the way down to 56, I think, something like that. Very low. It was maybe 60 kilometers per hour. It was a very steep deceleration. On top of that, before the safety light, or just as it was before the safety car light went off, he was accelerating very rapidly and then had to put his brakes when he saw the light come on. Now, what he should have done was to ease off of the brakes and let himself decelerate naturally. He didn't have to slam his brakes. There's no way that they would have given him a penalty if he had gotten too close to the safety car at that moment. And he said he was taken by surprise. So I think this is a case in which we can say that maybe not intentionally, but Piastri deserved to get the penalty that he got for 10 seconds because he was driving erratically, he was driving dangerously, he was accelerating. No need to be accelerating when you're in a safety car mode. And then he applied excessive force on the brakes and caused Verstappen to go forward. They even said that Nico Hulkenberg, during the cool down, when they were in the cool down room, tried to tell Piastri that Piastri was driving dangerously and affected everybody behind him. So I think it's fair enough to give him this 10-second penalty because whether or not he did this intentionally, maybe trying to call Verstappen out, which is not what I think the case is, whether or not he did that, he was driving erratically and dangerously. So it doesn't matter. It's not a question of intent. Now, Piastri feels that this is not fair because the lights came on too soon, but it's fair, and he should take into mind next time racecraft. You know, guys like Verstappen are very vigilant. They're watching everything that goes on. I doubt that Verstappen would be taken by surprise by a light coming out because he's vigilant. So this is just another sign that Piastri needs to work for, still has some work to do over the years. Well, not over the years, but he still needs time to develop more racecraft to be able to handle situations like this. Because I'm saying that the safety car's light going out took you by surprise will not be an excuse, because what he did was, it was dangerous. I'm not gonna say it was super dangerous, and it was even more glaringly dangerous when we think of the fact that this is in the rain and slick conditions. So to be going at 217 kilometers and then to slam on the brakes and go to, and within 3.3 seconds, you're down to 60 kilometers per hour is not safe, and he deserves this. And he has no one else to blame. Now, it seemed like he was almost hinting during the race. He said something bizarre over the radio, which seems that he might also be blaming the team. After he was forced to take his pit stop and collect a 10-second penalty, wait for 10 seconds before going. After that, he made the statement that to the team, something to the effect that, well, if you guys are confident that we can protest this, it's better for you to let Lando give me the place back and let's race, and then you can add the 10 seconds to my time after the race. Most likely, even if they raced and you had the 10 seconds, he would have still lost. But I think he's thinking, what if Lando crashes out or has a problem when I'm racing him, then it falls more than 10 seconds behind me or DNFs, then I can win. I think he was thinking that. And I think that it's absolutely outrageous for him to get on the radio and tell the team that rather than pit him and let him take um, the 10-second penalty, it, almost to imply that it would have been better to just let him keep on racing. But then he took it further and said, well, if you have faith in challenging it, you might as well go ahead and let Norris give me my place back, almost as if it was your fault for making me pit. He's basically saying that it was their fault for making me pit, and so it's not fair, and they need to let Lando give the place back to him, and then let them race, and then at the end of the race, he can get his 10 seconds. Clearly, banking on him. I don't think thought he was going to beat Lando by 10 seconds. Maybe he would have. Who knows? But I think he was banking on that something would happen, and I think this is outrageous. And I think Lando Norris should take notice to see that, just to see how cold-blooded Piastri is. I don't blame Piastri for saying it, but I don't think I would have had the gall to say that over the radio. But the fact that he had the gall to say that shows that he is a goddamn killer and wants to win. So if I were Norris, I'd take a very close look at this guy, because Norris treats everybody as if they are his friends. It's time for Norris to not have friends. It doesn't mean they're his enemies, but to not be Mr. Nice Guy, because for Piastri to say something like that, and then and have the gall to say it, shows a lack of respect for Lando, because why would you ask Lando to give a place back after you had to take a 10-second penalty for hitting the brake testing? Now he'll say, once again, he's trying to say that that they shouldn't have made him pit to take the 10, that he should have driven. And then I don't know what the logic of that, because that still has nothing to do with later on having the protest and getting it. But I guess what he's saying is that by pitting now, well, there's another thing I have to say before that, but I guess he's saying that by pitting, I've lost so much time to Lando that I can't get it back, and you shouldn't have pitted me because there was still a chance that I would not be penalized. So therefore, Lando has to give me the place back. But what he doesn't realize is that if he hadn't, well, I think he does realize, but he thinks that these guys are fools. If he hadn't pitted and taken the 10-second, there's a big chance that he could be given a 20, not only just 10 seconds at the end of the race, but a 20-second penalty for the next race. So it was just a bunch of bullshit, and he knows it's bullshit. But I have to say, this guy has gall. He has some balls, not balls, but he basically a cold-blooded for him to ask for them to say, teammate, give the race back. On the other hand, Lando did dumb stuff. I think it was Hungary last year where he gave back the place when they told him and said, oh, if you need us to be there. So it just goes to show you the difference in personalities. And this is one of the reasons I think that at the end of the day, Piastri will still win this title, because he's a little bit more edgy, not a little bit, a lot more edgy and a lot more cold-blooded, because we know Lando is a warm-blooded creature. Well, anyway, we have to see what